The faith of Abraham. Trusting God in times of uncertainty, life is full of choices and moments that test our understanding and faith. Often, we face decisions that can change not only our destiny, but also the lives of those around us. Today, I invite you to learn about the story of Abraham, a man whose unwavering faith in God inspires us to face our own challenges. Imagine yourself living in a peaceful city, surrounded by family and friends, with a future that seems secure. This was Abraham's life in Ur of the Chaldeans. But one day, he heard a divine voice calling him to leave everything he knew. Suddenly, what he was familiar with became the past, and the unknown became his new home. Have you ever had to make a life-changing decision? Think about a moment when you had to choose between security and the unknown. It's tempting to stay in the comfort zone, but often, there is a part of us that yearns for something greater. Like Abraham, perhaps you felt that restlessness. When God said to Abraham, "Leave your land, your relatives, and your father's house, and go to the land I will show you," he was challenged to trust in the unseen. Abraham had no guarantees, no map to show him the way, only the promise that he would become the father of a great nation. How could someone leave everything without knowing what awaited them? That is the essence of faith, believing without seeing. Every step Abraham took toward the unknown was a test of his trust. He faced periods of uncertainty, famine, and unexpected challenges, moments when doubt could have crept into his heart. Have you ever experienced something similar? A moment of crisis when everything seemed to work against you? It's in these moments that we relate most to Abraham's journey. After many challenges, Abraham finally had a son, Isaac. God's promise had been fulfilled. He could finally see the hope materialized before his eyes. However, shortly after this joy, a new test of faith emerged. God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, his only son, for whom he had waited so long. Can you imagine the pain this caused Abraham? The anguish of being asked to give up everything he had fought for? Many times in our lives, we are challenged in ways that leave us in shock. It could be the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or a health crisis. The question is, how do we react? When Abraham received God's request, he rose early, preparing to carry out the difficult task. He didn't hesitate. He could have tried to justify his refusal, but instead, he chose to trust. This is a critical point. When Abraham climbed the mountain with Isaac, he carried not only the wood for the sacrifice, but also the weight of his decisions. Life's mountains are steep, and often the path is difficult. However, it is on our challenging journey that we find the true meaning of faith. Have you ever faced something challenging, even believing it might be in vain? As they walked, Isaac asked his father, "Father, where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" This question, innocent yet painful, must have hit Abraham like a punch to the stomach. "God will provide for himself the lamb," he replied. It was a statement of faith and hope, but also an internal struggle. What might have been going through Abraham's mind during that difficult moment? Think about this. How many times, when confronting difficulties, do we try to hide our uncertainties under a layer of optimism, convincing ourselves that everything will be okay? What Abraham demonstrated was a faith that transcends human understanding. He believed that, regardless of the situation, God had a plan that might be incomprehensible but was still good. Can we learn this lesson too? When Abraham reached the top of the mountain, he prepared the altar and began the preparations for the sacrifice. The tension was palpable. What would happen to Isaac? At the last moment, when the knife's blade was about to touch the boy's skin, God intervened. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," said an angel. With this, God proved Abraham's faith. The sacrifice was not necessary. Instead, a lamb was provided. This moment is powerful. It teaches us about divine providence and the importance of faithfulness. Like Abraham, we often need to be tested to grow. Every challenge is an opportunity to witness God's hand in our lives. May I ask you, are you ready to discover what God has prepared for you, even amid trials? Throughout Abraham's life, he not only became the father of Isaac, but also the father of many nations. His story is a testament that, when we place our faith in something greater, our journey can resonate across generations. So, when you find yourself at a crossroads, remember Abraham. Faith is not just about believing in God's promises, it's also trusting that, even when everything seems uncertain, He is in control. It's a call to action, an invitation to move forward with courage. The moral of the story is clear. Faith is trusting in the unseen and continuing to walk, even without seeing the end of the road. Every step we take, even in challenging circumstances, can lead us to a new beginning, a greater plan that only God can see. So, when facing life's challenges, follow Abraham's example and trust. Who knows what miracles are waiting for you, just a few steps ahead. If you felt inspired by Abraham's story of faith and courage, don't forget to leave a like and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Your action can encourage more people to trust in God in times of uncertainty.